Hello everyone, we're MossCharmly. We're going to show you our Linux build and the recommended parts to build a Linux PC for digital artists. With this build, you'll be able to edit photos and videos, create digital illustration and paintings, do some 3D modeling, and we can't forget gaming.
You know, we wanted to make a video that we would have wanted to see when we started getting into Linux. So that's why we've made this. But we're not sponsored. Everything we recommend we have bought for our personal PCs, or we've used them in other builds for our family members.
We couldn't find a video that was simple, one that just told us what parts to buy that would work with Linux.
We knew we needed a computer that could run Blender for 3D, Creative for creating comics and illustrations, GIMP for photo editing and other software for publishing, and Steam using Proton for gaming. To do all of that, these were the required parts for the PC build. So, here we go.
Okay, these are the parts. An 8-core CPU, a CPU cooler, 32 gigabytes of RAM, GPU, AMD or NVIDIA, M.2 NVMe SSD, minimum 1 terabytes, power supply, 650 or 750 watts, a PC case, and don't forget a motherboard.
Oh, and a Bluetooth dongle, because Linux doesn't work too well with Bluetooth just sometimes. So we recommended specific dongles that will, completely circumvent any issues with Bluetooth connectivity. Definitely don't forget thermal paste and a few little extras. You're going to need a screwdriver kit and a static bracelet because you don't want to zap anything.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to recommend Intel CPUs because we're not personally familiar with them. So AMD CPUs are what we're going to build with.
AMD builds. So here we go.
The build.
The build. Parts in 2024. Here we go. Okay. When looking at parts for an AMD build, there are presently two different platforms. One uses the AM4 socket and the other uses an AM5 socket. AM4 is older but still relevant platform. People say it's dead, but it's really just discontinued, but it really is a very capable platform. And then there is AM5. That's the most modern platform and the most modern, socket for AMD.
Yeah, in 2024.
In 2024. We will separate the build recommendations into AM4 and AM5.
Yeah.
They will all have specific CPUs, RAM, and motherboards. And then after that, we have compiled the other parts that you will need for the build. But we selected parts that are all going to be uniform for both AM4 and AM5 platforms. We thought it would make it easier just to select the parts, you would need and then go on from there. So,
just to make it clear, all you have to do is pick an AM4 or AM5 CPU, RAM, and motherboard. Then after that, you can pick the other parts like the air cooler, SSD, power supply, and GPU from the list and put it in a case we recommend. And it should all work for a Linux build. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to rattle off all the parts.
The AM4 is the first build we're going to go with. So the AM4 CPUs we recommend are going to be the Ryzen 7 5700 or the 7 5700X. Those are really great, 8-core CPUs. You can also upgrade to a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. Now that's a really incredible CPU and sort of like the super high end, but works really, really well with gaming and 3D modeling. So absolutely good choice. The AM4 motherboards, some are going to have Wi-Fi, some are not, but it's really optional. Just make sure that you have a connection to the internet. All the motherboards are going to have an Ethernet connection, so don't worry. But the ones we recommend are the MSI Mag B550 Tomahawk Max with Wi-Fi gaming motherboard. That's for AM4. The MSI Mag B550M Mortar Max Wi-Fi gaming motherboard. That's the build you're actually seeing, as B-roll in here. Then we have the Gigabyte B550 Aeros Elite V2, and that's the AMD 5000 ATX motherboard. So that's a good one. The ASRock B550M ITX, AC supported. It's really good for the AMD, AM4. So it's really good. There we go. The RAM for DDR4, motherboards. Just make sure the RAM that you're getting for your motherboards is going to be 3600 megahertz, and its clock speed, it's CL16 or C16. Sometimes it'll say that. So the DDR4 Corsair Vengeance LPX 32 gigabytes. They're 2 sticks, 16 gigabytes each. This is DDR4 at 3600 megahertz, and it's C16 desktop memory. Just make sure that it's the 2 sticks of 16. The next is going to be the DDR4 G-Skill Ripjaws V or 5 series. It says it's an Intel XMP. It's going to work great for AMD. That's the ones we usually have. So it is DDR4 RAM. It's 32 gigabytes, and they're 2 sticks of 16. These are also 36 megahertz and CL16 as well. Okay, right?
All right, now we're going to go over the AM5 motherboard, RAM, and CPUs. It's part time. It's parts time.
Yeah.
Okay, AM5 CPU. There's the AM5 Ryzen 7 7700X. It's an 8-core CPU. Ryzen 5 7600X is a 6-core CPU. Its single core speed is 4.7 gigahertz. It will be good for 3D and Blender.
We did say that it would be good to have an 8-core CPU, but honestly, this 7600X, the 57600X, it is very capable, and you have a lot of room to upgrade in the future. But this is a truly good 6-core CPU, so won't be disappointed.
Okay, AM5 motherboard, and Wi-Fi is optional. Is Asus Tough Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi socket AM5. AM5. The Gigabyte. Then there's the Gigabyte B650 Gaming XAX AM5 LGA 1718 AMD B650 ATX. Then there's the Gigabyte B650 Aorus Elite AX AM5 ATX motherboard. Then we have, RAM.
And this has got to be DDR5. So that's going to be a completely different, RAM speed. So these are much faster than the DDR4s for AM4.
So these are the AM5 for AM5 motherboards.
Yeah.
CL3630.
Yeah.
Yes. 5600 megahertz
minimum.
minimum.
Basically, it's like the speed of the RAM needs to be a minimum of 5600 megahertz. We do have RAM we recommend that's going to be 6000 megahertz, but we just want to be clear that you need kind of some good RAM. You need fast RAM. So just make sure that that's what it is.
Okay, this is G-Skill Flare X5 series AMD Expo DDR5 RAM 32 gigabytes, and these are two
sticks of 16.
Two sticks of 16 gigabytes. 600
6000 megahertz.
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you.
And CL36.
Yeah. Then there's the Corsair Vengeance DDR5 RAM 32 gigabytes. Two sticks of 16. Also 5600 megahertz. CL36. Then there's the Corsair Vengeance DDR5 RAM 32 gigabytes. Two sticks of 16 with 6000 megahertz.
Yeah.
CL36.
They're basically just different clock speeds for their megahertz.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
Yeah. Get the 6000 if you want, really good RAM. So there we go.
Now, from this point on, all the following parts will work for both AM5 and AM4 builds.
So we're going to get into SSDs. So that's going to be the hard drives. We have the Samsung 970 EVO Plus SSD, and that's a 1 terabyte NVMe M.2. Then we're going to have the Samsung 980 Pro SSD. That is 1 terabyte. It's a PCIe 4. So that's the Gen 4 NVMe. Then we have Western Digital, and that's the WD Black, 1 terabyte. Then we're going to have one that's totally a budgetish one, but it's really good, totally capable. And it's going to be the Western Digital. It's the blue, 1 terabyte, SN580 NVMe. So it's going to work okay. It'll be good. Oh, thermal paste.
Thermal paste.
Always remember the thermal paste.
Thermal
Right?
paste. We recommend the Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Arctic M6 or MX6 or the MX4.
Yeah. So it's like one or the other, Thermal Grizzly or the Arctic MX6.
Yeah.
Those are really good. So, yeah. And you're going to need an air cooler to put on top of your thermal paste.
You will.
Exactly. So the air coolers are both great for AM4 and AM5, just to remind you that. The best one, in our opinion, would be the Deep Cool AK 620 Dark. So that's a really good one. The next one is going to be the Scythe Fuma 3. That was really surprising. That's in my personal build. That's really great. Had not a problem with that at all.
Yeah, great for price.
Yeah, it was totally budget, but it really is surprising how cool it keeps the CPU. And that's, so really nice. Then we have the Deep Cool Assassin 5. Is that 5? No, IV. I always get the Roman numerals. That's 4, right? IV. CPU air cooler. So the Deep Cool Assassin IV CPU air cooler. That's great for AM5 and AM4 sockets. Then we have the Deep Cool AK500 air cooler. That's good for both AM4 and AM5. That's in your build. So there we go. Ooh, sorry. We're going to go on to power supplies. So.
Oh, but SSDs.
We already did SSDs.
Oh, we did.
I accidentally, in the script, I sort of copy and pasted that incorrectly. I forgot to delete that. So here we go.
Let's
a little
start.
bit of real life, everyone.
Yeah. Let's start power supplies.
Power supplies.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay.
It's alive.
We recommend the Corsair RM750E. And then there's the Segatep 650 watts, 80 plus gold certified non-modular ATX power supply.
It's got flexible cables. It's actually pretty good. So, yeah.
Nice. And then there's the Pure Power 12M 750 watts ATX 3.0 80 plus gold modular power supply.
It's perfect. Now on to the GPUs, yeah? So we're going to just say, all the GPUs should have at least 12 gigabytes of RAM as a minimum, to be honest, especially in modern day stuff, because it's kind of like you need a little bit more something,
Yeah, things are asking a lot. So
they're asking a lot of your GPU these days.
Yeah, they are.
They are, though, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, GPUs. We recommend XFX Speedster RX 6800 with 12 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah. I think that's 12. I think it's 12, but there's also a 1668. Oh, no, that's the XT. Excuse me. I'm very sorry.
Then there's the XFX Speedster Swift 6700 XT.
That's great.
This is the one you were talking about. This is the Power Color Fighter AMD Radeon RX 7800 XT with 16 gigabytes.
That's the beast. That right there, right? That'll release the Krakens on that. I'll tell you right now. So yeah, we mostly got Sapphire cards, like when we really can find them, but they're kind of hard to find right now. So except for the 78s, the 7 series for AMD, and I'm sure the new cards are coming out. But our personal favorites, honestly, are going to be the 6800 XT with 16 gigs of RAM. But the 6700 XT with 12 gigs of RAM is really good. I mean, for the price, you're dealing with a very capable graphics card. And then, of course, if you really want to go for it, get the 7800 XT. You're not going to be dissatisfied with that at all. So, there we go. And if you have to go NVIDIA, not knocking on NVIDIA, the ones we do recommend, because their 4 series, the 40 series, I should say.
Of GPU?
Their GPUs, they're kind of like, a lot of people felt very disappointed, but they're very capable cards, so don't worry. But the ones for NVIDIA would be the MSI Gaming GeForce RTX 3060, gotta be 12 gigabytes. Then you've got the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 3060 Gaming OC 12 gigabytes. That's a great little 3-fan, GPU. But, honestly, just get AMD. It's going to work great with games, especially on Linux. That we would thoroughly recommend just a full AMD build. So, there we go.
Okay, then we also recommend a Bluetooth adapter. So, there's the Edimax Bluetooth adapter. There's the Panda Bluetooth 4.0 USB nano adapter. That's the one we have.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Really great. On all the Linux ones.
Yeah.
Pop OS. I mean, on Nobara, it works great. So super cool. Not an issue.
Yeah, just make sure it works with Linux. They're really good.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Then there's the cases. Okay, these cases can go down below $99. So wait or don't, that's okay. You will not be disappointed with whichever case you decide on. So there's the Be Quiet Pure Bass 500 FX ATX. There's the Lee & Lee Land Cool 216. 216. Yeah. It's the best one. That's the one we have in the build that we're showing.
Yeah. That one's with the RGB though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes.
But it doesn't have the actual RGB controller in it because, whatever. No.
We got other things to worry about.
It's more important to get really good cooling in there.
Yeah.
So, and it really is. That thing is like a little air conditioner.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
amazing how much air it pushes out. So absolutely awesome. And all of these cases
and it fits all the parts really well.
perfectly.
That's something.
For
Cable
all of the
management
parts.
is wonderful.
It is. And all of these cases come with fans, so you don't need to buy any extra fans. So that's the best, part about these.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then the last one, Antec NX416L.
That's a good one. That's basically, like a really good one for the price. So
yeah. And if you get a different case, make sure you get extra fans if they're not included.
Yeah, that's very, very important.
So we hope we helped you out with this build and let us know.
Wasn't too confusing.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and if you maybe have other recommendations, feel free to write in the comments. And
yeah. It's about just building a community and building the dialogue and sort of just talking about what's going on, because Linux is going to be a bigger, operating system than it is now. I mean, it's already reached, 4%. So it's going to be getting bigger. So it's going to be changing. So just wanted to let everyone know there's more options out there for you, especially as a digital artist. And we will be doing a video on installation of an operating system and all the programs you're going to be needing, but that's for a different video. So, yeah.
We hope we helped you out for your, maybe future build.
Yeah.
Something exciting.
Yeah.
And, please like and subscribe. We love hearing from you.
We do. So, hope everybody has a good day, okay?
Yeah. MossCharmly out. Bye.
MossCharmly out. Bye.